time to pull up a chair. We've got another great story for you today in the rLounge. Boundaries are there for a reason, and when they're ignored, chaos reigns supreme. Today in the rLounge, we're pill popping for sanity's sake. Up first, a marriage is over almost as fast as it started. Am I the a-hole for leaving my best friend's wedding right before I was supposed to give a speech and texting her husband after the wedding, causing them to get a divorce? Context. First, I have severe anxiety, so I take anxiety medicine to stop the panic attacks from happening. Second, when you take anxiety medicine for a long time, your body gets used to that normal feeling of not having anxiety. So when you stop taking it, your anxiety hits you like a truck. Third, me, the bride, and the groom were childhood best friends, so they both wanted me to give a speech at the reception. A week before the wedding, my best friend, let's call her Kate, puts everyone invited to the wedding into a group chat to say drugs weren't allowed at the wedding. This made sense to me because I know she has family that struggles with addiction, so I ignored it because obviously my medicine wasn't included in this rule. Fast forward to the wedding day. I made sure to take my medicine with me so I wouldn't make a scene at the wedding and actually do the speech I prepared. An hour later, Kate pulled me to the side and asked if I brought my medicine. I told her yes, of course, I couldn't do the speech without them. Are you crazy? I said no drugs at my wedding. That includes prescription medicine. You know I have anxiety. Well, I thought you would suck it up for me since I'm your best friend. Are you serious? You know that's not how it works. It's my wedding. I thought you were better than my family. After a few minutes of talking, I finally told her, fine, I'll get rid of them. I lied about doing so, but I can't do the speech then. She reluctantly accepted before walking away, visibly upset. After a while of enjoying the wedding, I could feel my medicine wearing off, so I started hanging out in the background by the food table, far away from everyone. 10 minutes before the speeches were about to start, she announces names of people who were going to give speeches. To my surprise, she still called out my name and even went as far as saying, my best friend, Casper, is going to give a speech first because she knows how much she means to me and the groom. My heart started to pound out my chest, and as people started to look at me, so I ran to the bathroom. I locked myself in the wheelchair stall and proceeded to have the worst panic attack that I've had to this day. I managed to calm myself down enough to drive myself home after taking my meds, which was a 3-hour drive, mind you. When I got home, it was really late. I was sitting in my thoughts when I remembered the groom had a sister who struggles with mental health like I do. So I texted him about why I didn't do the speech and what Kate said to me about sucking it up, and a few other red flags I have ignored until now. As much as this was about me being petty, it was also about how I didn't want his sister to have to go through what I went through with Kate. Some part of me was worried, what if Kate forced his sister to do something without her medicine and she gets hurt? The very next afternoon, I get texts from her family that I'm close with that I'm an a-hole for leaving Kate when she needed me the most. Kate texted me later that night saying, you always wanted him, didn't you? I asked her what she was talking about. She told me that he asked for a divorce. I told her I just showed him who you really were. She called me a few minutes later, audibly drunk, saying, you know how triggering it was for me to find out you brought pills here. I tried to reason with her that this wasn't my fault, but she wouldn't budge on her judgment. So I told her maybe it's better if we're not friends. Me and the groom are still good friends, but I haven't seen Kate in 2 years now. When I go through my pictures of all three of us together, I sometimes wish that we could have worked things out. So am I the a-hole? Edit. I wrote this post last night looking back at this post this morning. There are a few things I should have added. I want to address a few comments and clear some things up. First, they were officially married before the wedding. Second, I didn't take my medicine or leave to my car to take it in secret because a part of me wanted to show her what following her ridiculous rule did to me. The third reason why her rule extended from drugs to prescribed medicines was because a few members in her family faked illnesses to get prescription drugs. We knew each other since we were children, so I thought since she understood my condition was real, she would let me bring my prescribed medicine. Let's get some judgment from the community. First up, actual friend would have understood that a necessary prescribed medication is not drugs. She set you up to fail and to have that panic attack, not the a-hole. Next person's thought. There's no way the groom would ask for a divorce just because of one conversation with you. There were problems in the relationship, that's why he got a divorce, not the a-hole. Another comment says, clearly something else was at play in their relationship if the groom asked for a divorce less than 10 hours after getting married. Maybe this was just the proverbial straw that broke the camel's back. But I say not the a-hole, as there had to have been some other underlying issue that at least the groom was struggling with in their relationship to make such a drastic decision so quickly. And one more comment. Not the a-hole, but why the hell didn't you just take the meds and not tell her? It's prescribed medicine. I can't imagine she went up to every guest and asked if they had their medication on them. Did you take your birth control? Did you take your antibiotic? Do you have insulin with you? This sounds unlikely. She was legit setting you up for failure. Like, hey, here's a stressful situation. Now don't take your anxiety meds and see what happens. After the whole suck it up thing, Kate really missed the memo that friends support each other through tough times, not create those tough times for their friends. The groom asking for a divorce that soon? Yikes. I think the real red flag here is that if he was ready to bounce right after the wedding, there's a lot more going on under the surface that has nothing to do with you or the meds. Has a friend put you in a super awkward spot with a rule or request that just didn't make sense? How did you handle it? Let us know below. Up next, who knew the real wedding gift was the truth? Ready for some family drama? Am I the a-hole for telling my cousin the truth about her husband? I'm not close with any of my cousins. I've tried, but it never works out. I've even reached out multiple times to hang out, but nothing ever comes of it. For context, I'm 35, female, and my cousin is 40, female. She's married with a kid, but I've never met her husband or child, so that's already something. Let's call my cousin 40 and her husband SOB, you know what that spells, right? He's also 40. She lives in a city about an hour away from me. We rarely see each other, and when we do, she's never with her husband. It's always just her because we only cross paths at our grandma's house. One night, I went out with my friends and met this really cute guy. I was hooked. We spent every waking moment together. It felt like a dream come true. My parents met him and loved him. My brother, not so much. He said I could do better, but I didn't care. Since we both worked, we only saw each other on weekends. Fast forward 6 months, and things were getting serious. I was spending more time with him, not just on weekends. We hung out with his friends, and he spent time with mine. Everything felt right. Then, one night, he came over, absolutely fuming. He ranted about a female coworker who kept hitting on him. He made it clear he was happy with me and wanted her to stop. I felt relieved, happy even, because I wasn't sure if he'd stand up for me like that. Little did I know that coworker wasn't really his coworker. He invited me to his work event, and guess who was there? That so-called coworker. She walked right up to me and said I stole her man. Turns out they had been dating too. And the night we met was the same night he supposedly broke things off with her, or something like that. Anyway, we talked, and I told her that if she wanted to have a conversation with him, I was totally fine with it. At the end of the day, us girls should stick together. If something is bothering us, we should address it. She appreciated that, so we all sat down for a chat. He explained their issues and her problems, and honestly, for a moment, I felt like their therapist. Fast forward to a month later. My mom told me we were invited to my cousin's wedding. Another cousin, apparently. I have so many cousins, I've lost count. But sure, we were going. I called him to be my date, but he said he couldn't make it. He had a prior commitment. I was a little disappointed because I wanted to show off, to let everyone know that I had a successful boyfriend and that I was doing well for myself. Remember cousin 40 from the beginning of this thread? She was there too with her family. She found me sitting with my mom and asked me to come meet them. As I walked with her, I couldn't help but feel a little down. I had really wanted my boyfriend to be there with me, to celebrate together, dance, clap, and maybe even catch the flying bouquet. As we approached, cousin 40 tapped a man's shoulder. He turned around, and guess what? His eyes nearly popped out of his head, and his mouth hung so wide open, flies could have built a nest in there. Yep, SOB, her husband, the same man who cheated on her with his coworker, the same man who was supposedly my boyfriend. The moment our eyes met, I played it cool. I shook his hand and walked away before he could even get a word out. For privacy reasons, I can't share the exact messages, but here's a paraphrase of what went down. I can't believe you followed me here. Are you high? Followed you? You're the one who lied about being married. You are married. And to my cousin, no less. You backstabbing, lying, cheating piece of dog crap. I wasn't married when I met you. Huh? Oh, really? That's the card you're playing? You're lucky I didn't tell her on the spot. I can't believe you're married to my cousin. She deserves so much better. Stop talking like that. I did you a favor. No one was interested in you, and I gave you a chance. Say another word, and I'll expose you for the a-hole you are. Expose me? Honey, I'll tell her you're a stalker. Oh, that's how you want to play it. Fine. After that, I went straight to my mom and told her everything. She was livid. She wanted to confront him right then and there. So we asked to speak to cousin 40 privately. Once we were alone, my mom and I spilled all the nasty tea about her precious SOB, every dirty thing he had done behind her back. She stared me dead in the eyes, then slapped me across the face, calling me every name in the book. My mom and I were stunned. My face burned from the hit, but before I could even react, my mom snapped, yelling at her to shut the F up, and smell the coffee. Your husband is a cheater." And get this. She already knew. She had been following us. She had seen us together. She knew he was cheating with me. I was baffled, livid. I turned to my mom and said I needed to get out of there, and we did. We left the wedding ceremony apologizing to the rest of the family about us leaving. One cold Sunday morning, Cousin 40 called me. She apologized. I didn't even bother responding. My mom answered instead and told her to leave us alone. Whatever she decided to do with SOB was her choice, but I wanted nothing to do with it. And just like that, I never spoke to her again, because that was some next level Jedi mind trick manipulative BS, and I wanted no part of it. Am I the a-hole? Let's see what the community thinks. First up, not the a-hole. You tried to warn her, and instead of confronting you when she followed you, she blames you and assaults you. Your cousin made her bed. She can lie in it with her POS hubby. Next person says, you are not the a-hole. SOB is. 40 was acting on emotion and probably assumed you knew the entire time. She knows now that she behaved badly and at least tried to apologize. The only note I'd have given is, you shouldn't have even bothered to text with him and just told your cousin immediately, in private, like you did. Don't threaten a cheater, just act on the newly found information. And one more comment. Not the a-hole. You didn't even know that he was married, and I believe that had you known that you would never have gone for him. You were betrayed and hurt by someone you thought you loved and trusted. If your cousin had known about what was happening, then why didn't she talk to you about it? Why wait until the wedding to slap you and say all those horrible things? She needs a coffee slap for not knowing what she did to you, but to understand that her husband is a womanizing piece of crap. You are not the a-hole, OP. It's clear that you were betrayed by both your ex and your cousin. You didn't know he was married, and when you found out, you handled it as well as you could. The real issue here is how your cousin acted. She knew what was going on and still decided to blame you, even going so far as to slap you at the wedding. She chose to ignore the truth and protect her husband, and now she's trying to turn the tables on you. It's understandable why you've cut ties with her. She didn't have your back when you needed it, and that's a hard thing to forgive. How would you have handled the situation? Tell us in the comments. Up next, one woman's battle for her birth plan and her sanity. Am I the a-hole for telling my mother-in-law that if she keeps asking about our baby's name, she won't see her for an additional week every time she asks? I, 21 female, am currently 39 weeks pregnant, due next Thursday. Over the course of my pregnancy, I've had several issues with my mother-in-law, the two biggest being her wanting to be in the delivery room when I give birth, even though I have made it clear since the beginning the only person I want there is my husband. I got to the point where I decided I didn't want any visitors at the hospital, not even my parents, because she threw a fit about them coming after the baby was born. However, the biggest issue has been her wanting to know the baby's name. Baby is going to be named after my grandfather, who I have been extremely close to my entire life. Because of this, we decided to keep it a secret so it could be a surprise to him once she is born. My mother-in-law even went as far as snooping through my hospital bag to try and find either the sweater or the Welcome to World sign that has her name on it. Luckily, I caught her before she found them. Yesterday, she called my husband asking again why she can't know the name, even going as far as saying, what if something happens to me and I never get to know my baby's name? For reference, she is in good health and does not work a dangerous job. After my husband informed me of this conversation, I called my mother-in-law and told her as of now, she will not meet the baby for at least 3 weeks after she is born, and each time she asks about the name after this point will be an additional week she will not meet her. She says I am being cruel and denying her baby. So am I the a-hole for telling my mother-in-law if she continues to ask about my baby's name, I will not allow her to meet the baby for another week? Update. Not sure how to update my post, so I hope this works. First, answer some questions. This is my mother-in-law's 4th grandchild. However, they do not see the other 3, but maybe 3 or 4 times a year. I'm not sure why my brother-in-law and sister-in-law live about 4 hours away and do not allow the kids to come down here. Second, my husband does support my decision. However, he struggles a lot with setting boundaries with his family. He was raised with the they are blood, so their actions are okay mentality. This is something we are working on, and yes, his family, not just his parents, take full advantage of him. He is a teddy bear, and this is not the first time since we have been together that a family member has ran right over him. He did end up cutting the other family member off, but I don't see him doing that to his mother. On to the update. After waking up this morning and reading all of your comments, I sat down with my husband and showed him this post after he read all the comments. Something clicked in his head and he agreed this behavior is not okay and apologized for not being firmer with his mother. We have decided we will not be telling anyone when I go into labor except for a trusted friend who will be taking care of our dogs and horses. and will inform my labor and delivery team no one is to come in under any circumstances. He also sent his mom the following message. Mom, after the conversation we had yesterday, your behavior has gotten out of hand. While I understand you are excited to meet our baby, your actions have shown we cannot trust you around her until we receive an apology and see your actions have changed. You will not be meeting her. And from this point on, wifey will not be communicating with you. If you have anything else to say, you will say it to me and me only. I'm very proud of him for standing up for his family, and we will see how things progress. But at this point, I'm checking out and focusing on myself and baby. Thanks everyone for the support and advice. Let's see what the community thinks. First up, she says I am being cruel in denying her baby. Add an extra week for claiming that your child is her baby, or just go no contact. The next person says, not the a-hole. It's not her baby. She has no right to your child, and her behavior is so entitled. I think enforcing boundaries now is the best thing you can do. Stay strong and hope she learns something about not throwing tantrums and looking through people's things from this. Otherwise, you're in for a rough 20 years. One more comment. Not the a-hole. You're very good with boundaries, actually. People who can't respect boundaries will always tell you that you are cruel for setting boundaries, and this is exactly what she is doing. Some of the comments stated that she is just being annoying. No, she isn't just being annoying. She is a person who doesn't have any respect for other people's boundaries and thinks that the world revolves around her. Best of luck to you both, because she is going to continue to being a nightmare probably. Your mother-in-law is really crossing some major lines here, especially with the whole I need to know the baby's name obsession and snooping through your things. You're completely right to set boundaries, and it's good that you're standing firm. Her comments about being her baby are incredibly out of line. This isn't her child, it's yours, and you and her husband get to decide what's best for your family. How have you handled similar situations with family members who overstep boundaries? And what advice would you give to someone in this situation? Thank you for joining us today in the rLounge. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. Until next time. And please put your chair back where you found it.